What it do, my MCOC crew? This is DamnEpic, back with a little something different today. I'm going to be reacting to Brutaldlx's retirement video, as well as giving some of my thoughts on what can be improved with the game of MCOC and prevent the game from crashing and burning, aka dying out. Also, stick around to the end of the video where I do a quick bonus 20 pop of the brand new 6-star Stark Spidey crystals. If you play MCOC and plan to continue to in the future, this video is definitely worth watching from start to end. Now for a quick little fun disclaimer. The thoughts in this video are an expression of purely my own opinions, not intended as any sort of advice on what you or anyone should do or spend in the game. This video is merely my own reaction and thoughts on Brutaldlx, the original legend of MCOC, retiring, as well as the current state of the game and my opinion on how to potentially save it. The thumbnail I used is a parody of sorts and not to cause any sort of confusion between Brutaldlx and I. Now, who is Brutaldlx and why should we care about this guy? Brutal is an OG MCOC player. He's got, I believe, the second spot for the largest and highest champion rating in the entire world. He's been playing for 6 years. He's a legend. And he's also, well, like your boy right here. He plays AQ. He's in a top 5 prestige alliance. He doesn't seem to care too much for Alliance War. I'm still fairly new to the game though, so any other details about him, feel free, leave it in the comments section below. He makes YouTube videos as well, so check those out. But let's get on to me. Who am I? For those of you who are new here, welcome. Welcome to the channel. If you don't know who I am, I've been playing the game since January 2020, and I might have to whisper here, but spent upwards of like 100 grand on the game. That's 100,000 bucks. So yes, I'm a whale, hence the username. I've also given back to my subscribers with cash prizes and greater gifting crystals. Check my resume, check the channel if you don't believe me. I mean, I love giving back to you guys. I enjoy high tier Alliance War and the recent story content, Act 7 and up. But I do enjoy that Grandmaster fight in 6.4, and of course, wailing out on Cav crystals and uploading them for you guys with that chill and suave vibe that some of you have come to enjoy. If I would have started playing this game 6 years ago, without a doubt, I think I'd be right up there with Brutal on the rating leaderboards, and with how things are being constantly devalued in the game, honestly, I'm sure glad that I started more recently. Let's get into the gameplay, or recent gameplay issues, I should say. The game is completely unplayable. I mean, that's just a fact. Everyone knows this. Kabam needs to fix this as soon as possible. Let's forget about parry, and actually no, screw that. Let's not forget about that. It's terrible, but I've been able to somewhat adapt to that. But for me, really, what's killing my vibe is just the lag. The fights are laggy. Here's a fight in Alliance War that's from yesterday, so it's super fresh, where the game just randomly lags and stops for 5 seconds. This is unacceptable. I mean, and unplayable. This needs to be fixed. Let's now talk about champion acquisition costs. This is the scariest part of Brutal's video and the future of the game. When one of the OG whales like Brutal says he's gonna stop buying Cavs due to champion acquisition costs being too high, trust me guys, things are in trouble. I feel like if the big whales like the spenders who decide, like, they get fed up and they're like, screw it, I'm not gonna buy Cavs anymore, guess what happens? They're competing with other whales buying Cavs and growing their accounts. So if this stops, what do you think is gonna happen? The big spenders stop spending, the BAM stops making money. Long story short, the game will be in trouble, the game will shut down. That's how Kabam keeps the lights on. So, I mean, what can be done to save this? Well, I'm going to get into that. But also, In Brutal's video, he mentions at one point that he enjoys playing his new free-to-play account more than his main account, with over a 4 million rating. Think about that for a second, guys. Let that sink in. There's something wrong when someone enjoys playing something that they just start up versus something that they've presumably sunk. And again, don't quote me on this because I didn't fact check this with him, but hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, in the course of 6 years. So basically in his free-to-play account at the lower levels, he's enjoying it more because he doesn't have to worry about chasing prestige and buying a ton of cabs with terrible drop rates. Basically staying on top of the hero leaderboards by acquiring all these new champions and ranking them up, or having to grind arena, dealing with all these mercs and bots and all of that stuff. Playing his free-to-play account, he gets to play the game in its native environment without all the headaches and stressors that come along with the big spending. Not to call anyone out, but I recently heard in a Tater's video that he's going to be going free-to-play completely from now on. Now, not that he was a whale or anything, but he did spend on the game, and he mentioned that in becoming free-to-play, he believes he's going to enjoy the game more and more. I feel like I'm sensing and hearing like murmurings of this going on with people, and it worries me because if this trend continues as more and more people stop spending and reach their boiling point of getting fed up with Kabam and the things that they're doing wrong with the game, which definitely outweigh, at least currently, the things that they're doing right, the game is going to die, guys. It's going to die. So this is very, very worrying stuff. KT actually just made a video kind of talking about how Kabam needs to step certain things up, so definitely check that out. But let's get into the future spending of the game and how I will be spending going forward. You've probably heard the quote or expression, "It's lonely at the top." Well, for some whales with the biggest rosters, what I think you can find is this secret. Are you ready for this secret? It can get boring at the top. There are just less champions to hunt, therefore it's less exciting when you dupe champions that you already have, because you have almost every single champion. So that leads me to this next thing. When you dupe a max sig 6-star, you get nothing, just ISO. Kabam needs to make this change right now. Kabam must change duping a max sig 6-star to provide benefit versus punishment. I mean, dude, we're getting literally punished for sigging up our champs or getting champs to sig 200 and then pulling them again. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous that a 5-star at max sig, when you pull them, yields greater benefit than duping a max sig 6-star. This just should not be and needs to be fixed as soon as possible. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. A simple change, in my opinion, to start is that Kabam should give at least 1,000 6-star shards if you dupe a max sig 6-star, or Kabam could do something like give you 2,500 mythic shards, which mythic crystals are those new crystals with a 20% chance of a 6-star champion and an 80% chance of a 5-star. So you dupe those, you get those max sig 6-star mythic shard crystals, and after, let's say, pulling 4 of those, you get a chance to either get a 5-star or a completely new 6-star. Maybe that could be bumped up, but that's pretty much one of the novel ideas that I had. That being said, I myself am going to be approaching buying calves differently. I'm not going to be whaling out each month randomly on all champs like I've been doing so far. I will only be whaling out if I really, really like a champ, or I feel that the newly released champ is at the top of the meta. Someone like, let's say, Shang-Chi or Hercules. In these cases, you're going to get massive whaling out videos. Or the other case, which I would still consider like really, really whaling out, would be if a new champion has a crucial synergy that drastically improves a current champion that I use. Don't worry, guys, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be picking up all of those early access bundles. They do provide some guaranteed value, so again, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Basically, though, I'm not going to be randomly rewarding Kabam with mindless big spending. They have to deliver a quality product and keep it quality. Also, due to how they handled the Hercules situation, I'll be doing my bigger whaling out videos for the champions that I'm hunting for once they are the sub-feature champion. This gives Kabam time to, let's say, if they have to fix anything or whatever, or, you know, any of that silent nerf bug stuff like they did with Hercules Immortality bug, it gives them a time to fix it. Now, let me quickly go into my thoughts about that. I think that Hercules SP3 bug, how they kind of dealt with that whole thing, it was showcased, okay? So in his SIG, it was written that the SP3s, you know, would pretty much counteract and nullify the immortality phase, so that would KO you. But in the content creator videos that we were seeing, it wasn't being advertised as that. He was pretty much using his immortality to tank those special threes. So what I think is, I agree with Kabam that they should kind of fix a champ back to how they did now, but they should compensate people with anyone who opened calves before, you know, they made this fix. I mean, it's just the fair thing to do. Waiting a month to pretty much silently make this fix is sneaky after everyone bought all the calves, myself included. Guys, I'm someone who dropped like 50 to 70 Odins to get this guy in at high SIG. So trust me, I have a little bit of stake in the game and a little bit of something to say here. But again, Kabam, they had to be silent about it because with their recent quote-unquote generous or fair compensation, they knew they'd be sending out way too many calves and they just didn't want to do that. So let's move on. How do we keep the game alive? In my opinion, to protect against this, Kabam can do a few things. First off, better drop rates on crystals. Give weekly deals or really banger deals at the end of each month. I mean, I like the summer cleaning, the spring cleaning kind of idea to add in more time where you're really getting awesome value in. I think they should do that a little bit more often. I think they should beef up the sigil even more so that the casual spender is just so enticed to get it. Just add more and more value there where people are like, okay, this really makes sense. And this way they can convert a lot more people over to getting the sigil, and people who normally wouldn't spend on the game, who would now spend on the game. And that, I think, would kind of make up for, like, if there were any sort of like whale exodus that ends up happening in the future, they would have kind of these loyal sigil people who are like subscribing monthly and making those payments. Think of it like paying for Netflix, right? You pay your $15 or whatever it is a month for, you have endless watch time. So I believe, like, you know, Kabam is providing a service. Again, if you want to remain free to play, that's optional and that's on you, and they should always have a free to play aspect of that. But I think if they're providing a lot of value, as long as the game is working as intended, I think if they make a very strong sigil and more people buy it, it'll help bring in more revenue and keep the game alive. Now, another very unique idea that I had that no one else is really talking about or mentioning is NFTs. Non-fungible tokens. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Pretty much, I feel that it would be just amazing if Kabam made it that you could grind for a champion or purchase, like a set amount of people could grind for, let's say, a 6-star Morbius or something like that, like a very exclusive limited champion, or obviously pay for one, and that this champion, then you own that, like you own that champion, you know, along with other people, and it can go up in value, or you can sell it or resell it. Like, I think this is something that they should really look into. I know they don't own the rights to these champions outright, so maybe they'd have to work with Marvel even more directly on that, but I think it's just so cool to, you know, if you're spending on this game or spending your time or you're spending your money, that you can kind of have some sort of ownership that can increase in value, versus honestly how things work in this game, everything always just diminishes in value. So it is what it is. That's my 2 cents. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of that idea. Now we're going to quickly get into bots and Mechs. I mean, I think Kabam needs an entire team specifically dedicated to just crack down on all of this. I mean, I don't know why it's still in the game. The only thing I could think of is that maybe it's somehow Kabam is benefiting off of it, or is it really that hard to fix? Kabam has like the most complicated technology and intricate coding and software to track all the spending and other activity in the game. They need to create something to counteract murking and bots. Even if it's honestly a net loss for them, I feel like long-term quality and integrity of the game will be improved, and the game has a higher chance of long-term survival. Alliance War and Incursions. These are my favorite game modes of the game. However, as of late, Alliance War has gotten super stale, more stale than it's ever been, and I'll be 100% honest with you guys. If Alliance War ceased to exist, I'd stop wailing out completely. Why? Why is that so? Because I just love getting the best attackers possible to bring into war on offense, and then also getting the best defenders that are really tough to mess people up on defense. I just love getting those kills. It's just fun for me. It gives me something to work towards and achieve. With Alliance War, they need better node design and perhaps more Grandmaster-esque style fights with prompts and interactive fun placed on final bosses. You just need more creativity all around, where the fights are more interactive and dynamic. I also think it'd be kick-ass if defenders placed, as long as it's placed by the same summoners, synergize, and that adds like another layer and element that when you're on attack, you have to look out for, like, oh, did this person place this with this? Oh, wow, then that synergy is there, and that they'll deal more damage or do X, Y, and Z to you. So that could be something cool as well. So that's another element of difficulty and strategy to pay attention to, no pun intended. Incursions. Now, Incursions, super fun, but also super time-consuming. Kabam needs to buff the rewards, add more gold, add more 6-star shards, and actually bring back those 6-star signature stones that they had in the higher rooms. Bring that back. Why'd you take that away? I mean, it just makes no sense. AQ honestly has never been my sort of thing. It's more of a means to an end to get resources. Similar to the monthly EQ, I mean, they just need to find a way to make this more fun, less repetitive, less grindy. Hopefully they tackle this with the introduction of the brand new map 8 coming in the fall. And then if it's a success, let that trickle down and be implemented into the other maps. So, Brutaldlx retiring. I mean, he's retiring as he used to play the game, meaning he's not going to be wailing out like crazy on Cavs anymore, if at all, unless, you know, again, like a champ that he really likes comes, maybe he'll pop some Cavs for that. But he's actually not quitting MCOC itself, guys. He's just quitting grinding for 6 stars in the arena due to all the bots and the cheating, and as I said, dropping big on Cavs. Now, let's kind of wrap things up on a more positive note. Let's get into what Kabam is doing right. We're all here because we love the game to some capacity. If not, we wouldn't be here, so we want it to succeed. So, what has Kabam, at least in my opinion, done right lately? Story content. Everything from Act 7. Act 7, in my opinion, is a masterpiece, especially 7.2. It's been the most fun, fair, least grindy content in the game. The nodes were fun and manageable and didn't seem cash grabby. I really hope Kabam can keep this up. I really like that they implemented a few bosses at the end of each quest that you can choose which one you want to face, so when you're redoing all the lanes, you can kind of spice things up a bit. Summer of Pain, guys, this was a 10 out of 10 A+ experience for me. The difficulty levels were fair, milestones were straightforward and to the point. A what you see and what you accomplish is what you get type of approach. This is a very big contrast to how they often handle their side events. I mean, you don't know, what you have to do most of the time. You got to research on YouTube, how do I maximize and get the most rewards? One mistake and you lose out. I mean, that needs to be fixed up. I really love, back to Summer of Pain real quick, how they have the Grandmaster fights and how they set that up. It's the most fun fight in the game. And why is it the most fun? It's interactive, it's random, but all within a set of missions and phases that you have to take them down. You don't know exactly what you're getting, what you have to do next, but you know within a set of parameters what you have to do, and you have to react and execute on the fly, and that just makes it so fun every time. So I think Kabam needs more Grandmaster style fights, not just a copy and paste of this one in the future, but more fights in this sort of template. But Summer of Pain gets a huge bravo and thumbs up from me. Now, without further ado, as a bonus, here's that quick pop of 20 Stark Spidey calves. If you've watched the entire video to this point, you're the MVP.
Let's get this over with. I have the rest of eternity to wander pointlessly.